Mechanism of vision and image psychology. Deissima Siri. Critical reading in the book Psychological Analysis and Images shifts the focus from the psychology of the artist to the painting simia, and psychological analysis and images takes several axes. First axis, theoretical collection of image epistemology, and in it, one psychobiography with the psychobiography. Illustration of how classical criticism used psychological analysis as a practice to analyze artists' contracts, such as Freud da Vinci's analysis. Book launch. Griselda Pollock and the book's contributors reject this approach, that the painting is not a satisfactory display for the artist, but rather an independent cognitive and aesthetic space to image as an open optical text, building a strong bridge between psychological analysis and visual semia. The book deals with the image as a complex network of signs and indicators that form in the subconscious. Critical depth artwork carrying multi-layered blades. The task of the critic is not only to describe what he sees superficially, but to decompose these cognitive and visual decipherals to understand the hidden or suppressed meaning within formation. The gaze and the recipient's location, based on Jack Lacan's concepts on which the book relies so heavily. Sight is not just an act of physiological vision, it is a complex web of desire and power. How does the painting compel the viewer's eye to adopt a certain attitude? Artwork has an effect. It looks at us as much as we look at it, and stimulates our deep neural and psychological responses. The application aspect of the tools for disassembly of artwork. How do we use the ideas of this book as a methodological tool within the financial professional? One dual eye reading methodology proposes an applied methodology that integrates metaphysical analysis, similar to Edmund Feldman's approach to description. Metaphysical analysis and psychological interpretation. In a practical step, the critic begins analyzing composition, lines, blocks, and colors, either in strict abstract schools like supremacy and Bohas, or in arts loaded with heritage insects. Then it moves on to understand how these formative elements create a psychological state, or how they embody visual conflict. The impact of memory and time on the painting, using book tools to analyze how collective and individual memory attends artwork. When reading the works of pioneers, whether in Iraqi, Egyptian, or Saudi art, we do not look at heritage symbols or decorations as mere nostalgia for the past, but as an attempt by the optical unconscious to restore an identity or restore a lost balance by restructuring it in modern forms. Create a flow in the subject. Analysis of the interaction of the artist's body with the material of the work. We ask, how do the neurological and psychological reactions translate into brushstrokes or rough touches? According to the book, the substance itself becomes a medium for translation of unspoken desires. Third axis. Critical summary of the editor's biography and the status of the book. A little about Griselda Pollock is a professor of art history at the University of Leeds, and a pioneer in dismantling the male untraditional curriculum in reading art history. She boldly infused feminist theories and contemporary psychological analysis into the heart of academic criticism. The importance of the book. Psychological Analysis and Image is not just a historical book, but a practical guide that enriches the tools of the modern critic and frees it from impressionistic reading to provide a scientific analysis that links creative processes, neural networks of understanding, and psychological depth of receiving.
Carried 9 months of love, a small life beneath my heart, a gift from God above. I was still learning how to become whole, but love was growing quietly deep inside my soul. 3 sacred seasons, 3 holy gifts. God placed them in my arms and taught my first, then joy followed near. Then rose came blooming, and beauty reappeared. Then came my 9 months of joy, like laughter after silence, like light I could not avoid. My heart began receiving the grace I could not see. Joy came like a gentle song, and slowly healed in me. 3 sacred seasons, 3 holy gifts. God placed them in my arms and taught my heart to live. Love came first, then joy followed near. Then rose came blooming, and beauty reappeared. Then came my 9 months of rose. Something opened softly, something in me rose. Above the pain I carried, above the years I knew, my spirit started soaring toward a life made new. 3 children, 3 blessings, 3 lights from above. One taught me love, one taught me joy. One came like roses blooming through the rain, and all 3 showed my heart how to live again. 3 sacred seasons, 3 holy gifts. God placed them in my arms and taught my heart to live. Love came first, then joy followed near. Then rose came blooming, and beauty reappeared. 3 children, 3 seasons, 3 gifts from above. My soul learned to rise through love, joy, and rose.
Take care for what you pray. Oh, well, that I could sing like Doc Watson and have the smell of a dog. The paradox of fulfilled desire. Take care for what you pray. The aphorism, take care for what you pray, serves as a perennial warning against the myopia of human longing. It suggests that our desires, once granted, rarely arrive in isolation. They bring with them a constellation of consequences, responsibilities, and sensory shifts that the wisher is often ill-equipped to handle at its core. The phrase highlights the double-edged nature of transcendence, where the acquisition of an extraordinary gift may simultaneously dismantle the equilibrium of a standard life. the way to mastery.
Singing like Doc Watson.
To wish to sing like Doc Watson is to aspire to a specific kind of American excellence. A blend of flat-picking virtuosity, soulful baritone resonance, and a profound connection to folk traditions on the surface. This prayer is for the possession of beauty and the ability to move others. However, the aphorism reminds us to look beneath the aesthetic surface.
To possess the voice of Doc Watson is to inherit the sensitivity required to produce it. Such mastery often comes from a place of deep labor, or in Watson's case, a life navigated through the darkness of blindness, where sound became his primary landscape. To have the gift is to also carry the weight of its demands.
The public expectation, the vulnerability of artistic expression, and the potential isolation of being a vessel for a talent that exceeds the common experience.
The prayer for talent is, in effect, a prayer for a transformation of the self that may leave the original person behind.
The nuance of the aphorism becomes even more visceral when considering the desire for the smell of a dog. Specifically, the dog's hyper-acute olfactory capability to a human. The idea of super-smelling sounds like a profound expansion of consciousness, a way to perceive the hidden chemical narratives of the world. Yet, in the context of the modern world, this gift would likely manifest as a relentless sensory assault.
A dog's sense of smell is estimated to be 10,000 to 100,000 times more acute than a human in a pristine forest. This might be a divine revelation. In the modern city, it would be an agonizing nightmare. The blessing would force the recipient to endure the overwhelming stench of industrial chemicals, rotting waste, and the pheromonal anxieties of every passing stranger.
What began as a prayer for heightened perception ends as a sentence to perpetual overstimulation. This illustrates the central irony of the aphorism. We pray for more life, forgetting that our biological limitations are often the very filters that make life bearable. Philosophical implications. Limitation versus transcendence.
These examples point toward a broader philosophical tension between human limitation
and the desire for transcendence.
Human beings are tuned to a specific frequency of existence.
Our sight, hearing, and talents are calibrated to a reality we can navigate. When we pray for extraordinary abilities, be they artistic or sensory, we are essentially asking to be retuned to a frequency that may be incompatible with our environment.
The desire to transcend our boundaries is a hallmark of the human spirit.
Yet the aphorism,
take care for what you pray,
suggests that wisdom lies in recognizing the utility of our deficits. Our inability to smell everything, see everything, or perform perfectly protects us from the white noise of a universe that is far larger and more chaotic than we can process.
Transcendence,
without the necessary evolution of the soul or the body to house it,
becomes a burden.
The balance of aspiration.
In conclusion,
take care for what you pray
is not a counsel against ambition,
but a plea for self-awareness. It asks the individual to consider if they are truly prepared for the reality of their desires.
Whether it is the soulful burden of a master musician or the overwhelming clarity of a canine's nose,
every gift demands a sacrifice of the previous status quo.
True wisdom lies in the balance between our aspirations and the reality of our existence.
By understanding that every gain in ability often comes with the loss
of simplicity or protection,
we can approach our prayers
with the sense of humility.
We must recognize that the constraints of being human are not just walls, they are the very structures that allow us to experience the world without being consumed by it.
Together we rise, one fellowship strong. Hope ignites vision, a radiant song. Every culture thrives in light we give. Purpose and courage show how we live. calling is more than tasks we keep. We shape the future, foundations deep. Every challenge turns to chance we see. Rays of belief guide our destiny. Oh, the power of positive leadership. Faith and grit guide our fellowship. Purpose drives us, excellence we chase. Optimism shines in every space. Shared vision, dreams lifted high. Inspiration burns, belief won't die. Together we rise, together we shine. Impact the world with hope divine. Victory comes when hearts unite. Every step leaves traces of light. Leaders of hope, of change, of grace. Every challenge an invitation we face. Aspire higher, inspire deep. Dreams of tomorrow and trust we keep. Every team united, strong and true. Resilient hearts in all we do. So let us commit, with courage we stand. Holding the future in guiding hands. In every place, leave brighter skies. Positive leadership never dies. So the power of positive leadership. Faith and grit guide our fellowship. Purpose drives us, excellence we chase. Optimism shines in every space. Shared vision, dreams lifted high. Inspiration burns, belief won't die. Together we rise, together we shine. Impact the world with hope divine. Victory comes when hearts unite. Every step leaves traces of
Traveling, best for those in the middle. Avoid the young and the old and women with children. Avoid when necessary. Avoid when possible. If necessary, if possible. The pragmatic lens, reevaluating the romance of travel. The modern world often presents travel as a panacea, a transformative experience essential for a life well lived. However, the aphorism, best for those in the middle. Avoid the young and the old and women with children. Avoid when necessary. Avoid when possible. If necessary, if possible. Offers a starkly different perspective. It strips away the romantic veneer of the wanderlust narrative, replacing it with a cold, pragmatic assessment of movement as a logistical and psychological burden. By framing travel not as a leisure activity, but as a trial of endurance, this sentiment invites us to consider the hidden cost of displacement. The anatomy of capacity, the middle path. The aphorism's insistence that travel is best for those in the middle speaks to the physical and mental stamina required to navigate the friction of the world. The middle refers to that window of life characterized by peak autonomy, an age where one is neither burdened by the fragility of youth nor the infirmities of old age. To travel with the young or the old is to engage in a constant negotiation with dependency. The young lack the context to appreciate the journey and the resilience to handle its discomforts. The old may possess the wisdom but lack the physical vitality to endure the rigors of transit. Similarly, the mention of women with children points to the immense psychological and logistical encumbrance of caretaking. In this view, travel is an individualistic pursuit that demands a high degree of self-sufficiency. It suggests that when the primary focus of a journey is the management of others' vulnerabilities, the travel itself ceases to be an exploration and becomes an exhausting labor of logistics. The philosophy of avoidance, travel as a trial. The most striking aspect of the aphorism is its repetitive emphasis on avoidance. Phrases like avoid when necessary, and if possible, frame travel as a necessary evil rather than a desired luxury. This suggests a stoic or even cynical worldview where the default state of human flourishing is stability, not motion. When we are told to avoid travel, it implies that the act of moving from one place to another is an interruption of the soul's peace. It characterizes travel as a state of betweenness that exposes us to unpredictability, exhaustion, and the loss of routine. By suggesting we only travel if necessary, the aphorism challenges the idea that movement is an inherent good. It asks the traveler to justify their departure. Is the destination worth the friction of the journey? Is the knowledge gained worth the energy expended? A critique of bucket list culture. In an era of mass tourism and Instagrammable destinations, this aphorism serves as a radical critique. Today's culture encourages us to travel constantly, often for the sake of social currency rather than genuine necessity or growth. We are told to see it all before we die, leading to a frantic bucket list mentality that prioritizes the quantity of stamps in a passport over the quality of the experience. The aphorism suggests that this frantic movement is a mistake. It aligns with the growing movement of slow travel or even anti-travel, which posits that we might find more depth in a single square mile of our own neighborhood than in a dozen high-speed tours of foreign capitals. It warns against the vanity of movement, reminding us that displacement is a tax on our time and health, a tax that should only be paid when the reward is truly essential. Conclusion: the cost of movement. The core wisdom of this aphorism lies in its recognition of travel as an expenditure. Every mile traveled is a withdrawal from our reserves of energy, patience, and stability. By advising us to wait for the middle of life and to avoid the complications of dependency, it emphasizes that travel is a high-stakes activity that requires a specific kind of readiness. Ultimately, it teaches us that while movement can be transformative, it is not free. True travel is a weight that should be carried only when we are at our strongest. And even then, only when the journey is truly worth the cost of leaving home.
Waiting, how to move through the time, all while staying still, while being still as the time. And as the things roll past you, left and right, leaving you abandoned. Hard time. The heart of doing time is doing time without becoming undone. An anatomy of stillness and temporal flow, the aphorism, waiting, presents a radical reimagining of a common human experience, usually defined as a passive interval, a void to be filled or a delay to be endured. Waiting is here recast as an active existential discipline. The text suggests that waiting is not the absence of action, but a specific mode of moving through time that requires a profound reconciliation between the self and the temporal medium. The paradox of temporal kinesis, the central tension of the aphorism lies in the paradox of physical stillness paired with temporal movement. In a conventional sense, movement requires a change in spatial coordinates over a duration of time. However, the aphorism suggests a form of moving through that occurs precisely
because one is staying still. By remaining physically fixed, the subject ceases to compete with the external world's velocity. This stillness allows the individual to observe the internal mechanics of time. Woo! When the body stops, the consciousness is forced to engage with the sheer weight and flow of the present moment. It is a transition from spatial kinesis to temporal kinesis. The subject is no longer traveling through a landscape, but is instead traveling through the when, becoming the medium.
As the time,
The most philosophically dense portion of the text is the directive to exist.
as the time,
Normally, humans experience time as an external force, a river that carries us along, or a clock that dictates our pace. We are subjects in time. To move as the time implies a dissolution of the boundary between the observer and the observed. To become as the time is to achieve a state of radical presence where the ego's resistance to the passing second vanishes, and in the state the individual does not spend or waste time. They embody it. This reflects a phenomenological shift where the self is no longer a victim of the clock's ticking, but rather the very medium in which the world unfolds. It is a meditative transcendence that transforms, waiting from a state of longing for the future into a state of total immersion in the present. The geometry of abandonment. The conclusion of the aphorism introduces a poignant sense of isolation.
and as the things roll past you left and right,
leaving you abandoned. This imagery suggests a world defined by horizontal movement, the frantic lateral rush of things. By choosing to remain still, the individual falls out of the collective rhythm of the world. The left and right movement suggests a peripheral blur, where the world is moving too fast to notice the stationary observer. This abandonment is the price of temporal stillness. To be still while the world rushes is to become a ghost in the machine. However, there is a hidden strength in this abandonment. While the world is caught in the momentum of its own rolling,
the one who waits gains a perspective of the whole.
they are abandoned by the world's noise, but
In that silence,
they gain the clarity of the witness. Stillness as resistance in the modern age. In a contemporary context, this aphorism serves as a critique of the cult of speed. Modernity equates movement with progress and stillness with stagnation. We are conditioned to fear waiting as a dead zone of unproductivity. Reframing waiting as an intentional act of moving through time challenges this narrative. It suggests that there is a profound depth to be found in the pauses. The ability to stay still and feel the world roll past without being swept up in its frantic current is a form of psychological resilience. To be abandoned by the modern pace is perhaps the only way to truly find oneself. Ultimately, the aphorism waiting teaches that stillness is not a vacuum, it is a dense, active state of being where the individual, by ceasing to chase the world,
finally learns how to inhabit time itself.
The Torah as a melody. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak. This voice isn't just speech, it's a melody that begins within, a quiet inner breath that gently restores the heart. Every verse is a note, every word a tone, every halakha is a melody inviting the soul to listen, to awaken, and to reconnect with a sacred will. Just as God commands Moses to say, give ear, O heavens, and I will speak, and let the earth hear the words of my mouth. So too this melody calls out to me, to you, to anyone willing to truly listen, to become a witness, to become part of the eternal song of creation. Every inner sound becomes testimony to God's actions, to every act of kindness, to every repair that was made or is still waiting to be made. When I begin to play the verse, for I will call out the name of God, give greatness to our God. The melody flows to the heart, it reminds me that the power to lift and to repair isn't mine alone. It lives within all of us.
Every note connects our history, our exile, our struggles to the divine presence, to the source of faith. Then come the heavy memories, the sins of generations, sorrow, pain. But the melody doesn't hesitate, it transforms, it weaves together past and present, showing me that every mistake, every fall, every fracture is part of a greater composition waiting to be repaired. And as the melody strengthens, the heart realigns, and the divine presence finds its way back within. For God's portion is his people. Jacob is the measure of his inheritance. Play softly, reminding me that the gift of belonging to this people, to this Torah, is something that calls for constant refinement. The melody becomes a quiet promise. Don't be afraid, don't give up, because in every step, every thought, every word, we can add another note, lifting everything upward into the eternal song. One more moment of repair, one more piece of the everlasting melody. Each additional verse from Hazinu, they sacrificed to demons, not God. Gods they did not know, emerges in the melody as a moment of tension, a test, and still the melody teaches me. History and failure are not the end of the sentence. They're just a pause, a place to tune the instrument, to listen more deeply, to bring renewed awareness and joy into every action. And so the melody continues, sing, O nations of his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants and bring justice upon his adversaries. Even divine justice here feels like a balancing harmony, a return of order, a healing of the heart's wounds, a reminder that the world is never empty of kindness, and that everything in the end finds its way toward repair. And when I truly hear it, when this melody flows through me, I begin to understand. The Torah is not just something to study, not just words on a page. It is a living song, an inner melody, an ongoing repair. Every breath is a note, every thought is a sound, every action is part of the great composition of existence. So I listen, I play, I connect, and the heart slowly fills with joy. The pain softens, even if just a little. The divine presence returns to its place, into a heart that holds joy despite everything it goes through. And every moment becomes a repair, a piece of the eternal song of Torah, a melody that flows through generations into the world to come, and into the heart of anyone willing to listen.
Up like you know the tune. Little by little you walk into June, and I was fading till you came through, soft as a spark in the afternoon. My hands were empty, now they hold gold. You make the day feel slow. Afternoon bloom, you afternoon bloom, pull me through. Afternoon bloom, stay in view. Afternoon bloom, I'm lit by you. Bare feet on the floor, old fan turning slow. Peach on the table, honey in a bowl. You laugh with your eyes, I catch that shine. The whole room opens one petal at a time, and I was fading till hold my hand, we can keep this feeling in the sand. One more minute, one more trace, your golden grin, your daylight fade. Afternoon bloom, you, afternoon bloom, pull me through. Afternoon bloom, stay in view. Afternoon bloom, I'm lit by you.
They didn't take the tower down, they just renamed the wind. They took the howl out of the wolf and made it safe to spin. They didn't ban your questions, just made the answers thin. Then handed you a script to read and told you truth begins within. They paved the roads with promises and billboards full of light. They told you that your pain was wrong, your anger impolite. They didn't steal your memories, they made you doubt your side, then thanked you for your loyalty as you vanished overnight. The word came first in the room. They built a school to make you cool, then clipped your tongue and trained your thought until you said what you were taught. No, no cage, no cell, no chains, no scream, just fewer colors in your dream. No violence here, just grammar games, until your prayers all sounded the same. They didn't break the poets' hands, they paid them to write safe, turning rebels into hosts of shows and risking to escape. They offered peace in sterile rooms and masked for every face, and called it growth when no one moved, and called it grace when we obeyed. You'll find no blood beneath the screen, no echo in the phrase, just narrowed hearts and lowercase gods and all the saints replaced. And still we say it isn't war because the streets are clean, but war was never bullet shaped, it started in a dream. The word came first and then the chains, the rest was ink, the rest was games. They made the scream a metaphor and told you not to feel it more. No flags, no guns, no marching feet, just
Gave my last ounce of strength while the knife stayed in my back. Poured everything out for the ones I refused to lack. Blood don't make a family, that truth hit hard and clean. I chose my own loyal hearts in a world that's mean. They showed me I can only trust the reflection in the glass. So I pulled those blades out slow and sharpened them to last. Burning, I'm on fire. Light shines so bright. It wakes the night, lights your day, scares the ghosts away. No more pain, I'll burn everything that tries to bring you pain. 10 emotions ripping through me back to back, no relief. Love and rage and emptiness, fighting for belief. I'm barely holding balance, drowning in the noise, but I swallow it all down just to give them all my voice. I'll show them who's the real threat. I'll settle that score. I'm on fire, burning hot, burn everything in sight. I'm on fire, lights so bright, you'll never have to worry again. You'll never have to worry again. Still pouring out my everything when I'm running on empty, carrying my chosen family like it's all that's left in me. Family ain't just blood, it's the bond I fought to earn. Stronger than the blaze that tried to make me burn. No more games, no more blame, I'm cutting all their ties. Use their knives to carve my path and cut apart their lies. Use my fire to mend your heart. Melt metal into the cracks, I'll always have your back. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. Yeah, I'm on fire, baby. I'm on fire for you. Let my light heal you. You'll never travel alone again. 37 years of drama, cheating, lying, blame. They tried to bury the fighter, but I'm still in the game. Emotions hit like thunder, rolling through my veins. Grief, then fire, then hope, driving me insane. I can only trust myself, that's the truth they burned in me. Every hand that held me turned around and buried me, but I'm still here, still here, still pouring out my fight. You can't kill a fire that learned how to ignite. I'll never let the dark creep in, light shine so bright. Ghosts never see the night. Put your fist down, back down. You don't have to fight no more. I'm on fire. I'm on fire, baby. I got you. Never fear. I'll never let my light disappear.
eternal treasures we'll find. mindset of Christ. Choose the better part, let His word be your life. Align your heart with heaven, set priorities true. Significance begins when God's kingdom shapes you. Beyond success, we rise to give a life of love, the way to live. Adding value, serving each day. Faith and purpose guide our way. Legacy flows when Christ we embrace. Significance shines through His grace. Love one another as Jesus has shown. Invest in people, don't walk alone. Plant seeds of kindness, live with intent. Transformation comes when our hearts are bent. Without faith, it's impossible to please the Lord. Anchor your life in His truth and word. Entrust to others, let disciples grow. Significance lasts when His love we show. Success ends with you, but significance flows through you. Legacy is not what you leave for people, but what you leave in people. Beyond success, we rise to give a life of love, the way to live. Adding value, serving each day. Faith and purpose guide our way. Legacy flows when Christ we embrace. Significance shines through His grace.
In the porch side dawn, you open slow. Pale blush petals like a secret glow.
Your throat is cream with a pink soft kiss.
A trumpet bloom I could hold like this. So light, so kind, you lean and stay like ribboned rain on a summer day. Plant pet alamanda, plant pet alamanda. Oh.
Pink bloom, soft bloom, you turn the air to rose.
Plant pet alamanda, plant pet alamanda. Oh.
Gentle and bright,
Where the warm wind goes.
pink alamanda blanchetti.
On the trellis turns
Every little flower with a hush,
that burns, not loud,
not proud.
just a graceful face,
Blush in the edges,
cream at the base. Come close, come near, don't let me pass. That tender pink lasts and lasts. Plant pet alamanda, plant pet alamanda. Oh.
pink bloom, soft bloom, you turn the air to rose.
Plant and old. I hear your color before I see a classic heart on a living tree. Plant pet alamanda, plant pet alamanda. Oh.
Pink bloom, soft bloom, you turn the air to rose.
Plant pet alamanda, plant pet alamanda. Ah.
Gentle and bright,
Where the warm wind goes.
we are here, side by side. No more fear, no more hide. We talk real, no more lies. Look at me in my eyes. You and me, same way. We stay strong every day. If I fall, you hold me. If you break, I will be. We trust, we believe. What we have, we keep. No faith, no doubt. We stay in, we don't walk out. Late night talks, simple things. Laugh out loud, life it brings. Through the dark, through the light, we stay close, we stay tight. No need more, just be true. I got you, you got me too. We trust, we believe. What we have, we keep. No faith, no doubt. We stay in, we don't walk out. We stand
I give you all of me, nothing left to hide. Even when you're far, you're still right by my side. I whisper your name in the silence of night, wishing you'd hold me and make it alright. Every heartbeat, every sigh is a song for you, and I don't know why it hurts this way but still feels true. No one else, just you, just you. All of me is yours, forever and more. Even from a distance, you're what I'm living for. I miss you like the moon needs the tide, like the stars that can't shine without the night. I love you more, I love you still, and I always will. I scroll through our pictures, smile through the pain, each memory like sunshine after rain. I dream of the moment you walk through that door, and I fall in love with you once more. Time can pass and days can fade, but the way I feel, it won't ever change. No goodbye could dim this flame. You're in my soul, you're in my name. All of me is yours, forever and more. Even from a distance, you're what I'm living for. I miss you like the moon needs the tide, like the stars that can't shine without the night. I love you more, I love you still, and I always will. Come back to me when the world is kind. I'll be right here where hearts align. No matter the storm, no matter the way, my love is here. It will never stray. All of me is yours, forever and more. Even from a distance, you're what I'm living for. I miss you like the air I can't breathe. You're the only truth my heart believes. I love you more, I love you still, and I always will. I loved you like I never loved you before, but you changed the day you walked out that door. You went and got help while I was in despair. I didn't believe